Hello, hello, hello. I am Annette, and this is CJC Boyd, and we are Branches of Prosperity. So today we want to talk to you about some different things, but let's introduce ourselves the proper way. So, in my real life, I am a nurse, a holistic practitioner, a leaky gut, thyroid, and weight loss expert, and I put women in the body they love. CJ, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started, please.
Hi, I'm CJC Boyd, and I am a wife on a mission to just really implore every woman over the age of 50 to live audaciously till she draws her last breath. I've started the movement Fuck Yes After 50 to help women to just really reclaim who they are inside and then be able to monetize that so they can build a legacy that long outlasts them.
I love that. And we are out here building legacy, right? So, Branches of prosperity. We talk about multiple streams of not screams streams of income.
We
It's
do that
early
too.
here, and I'm on vacation, so give me a break. So we talk about ways that you can really incorporate different streams of income into your business, but streams that align with what your business really represents, right? So you don't want to be selling bricks when you're in healthcare. It does have to kind of align, like health products, health ideas, vacations, things like that, right? So that it aligns and people don't get confused with your message and who you really are at your center, right? So that's important. So today, CJ and I are going to just touch on the topic of how not regulating your nervous system can really sabotage that abundance and those things that you're trying to build. So, if you're always in survival mode and you're not resting and resetting, then you're not having clarity in your actions and your thought process, right? So it's hard to see where that vision is going when you're always, I gotta survive, I gotta survive, I gotta make money, I gotta sell, I gotta sell. And people don't want to be sold. People want to know that you're creating an opportunity that can help for them. And you really have to be excited about what you are marketing in your business, in your life, and in your relationships. You're always marketing yourself. So, CJ, how do you feel about what I just said?
I feel like, and I'll just share a story from like back in the day when I had the brick and mortar cafe. I was going 90 to nothing all the time. And I kept getting sick and I couldn't figure out why. And it's like because you're totally exhausted. You're not taking any time. And at the time, having a brick and mortar, being the owner, wearing like 27 different hats, there was no time. There was no time to decompress and take care of myself because let's face it, if I didn't show up, the business wasn't going to be open. There weren't going to be any sales. And so when I closed that and I got into the online space, I kind of came into the online space in the same idea like, oh, I'm in desperation. I need this money to be able to pay the bills for the building that's now sitting, not being used because of COVID, et cetera. And so now it's one of those things where I've taken a step back and I'm like, okay, people don't want to see desperation. If you're going out there and you're being desperate and you're ragged and you're exhausted, people don't want that. People want to have the ability to buy back their time, to be able to relax and enjoy. And if you're out there just go, go, go and sell, sell, sell and doing all the things and you come across in that way, people feel your energy. And most people don't start a second business or an online business to be able to give themselves more jobs or more time. People are doing that so they can have the relaxation, so they can have the time with family, so they can have the relaxation and enjoy the fun things. And I think that most of us miss the ball on that. We're like, oh, go, go, go. It's the hustle culture. When in reality, it's like, no, take a breath, tap into yourself and just ground yourself in silence for at least 15, 20 minutes a day, because you have no idea how much that is going to catapult your business and your life when you're feeling really good, not only mentally but emotionally, physically as well.
I think what you just said is really important too, because if you're selling health, and CJ and I are both in the health and wealth space, right? So we encompass what that is. So if you're selling health and you're showing up frazzled and look like you desperately need a vacation, people see that. And you are the front facing part of your business. So if you don't look good, then people aren't going to be attracted to, oh, I want what she has, right? You want people to want what you have, right? So if you always look like, oh, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, people can say, well, do I really want that in my life, right? Especially because they want more time and more freedom. And that's not saying more time and more freedom, right? So, um, I was telling CJ before, I had a million things I should be getting to, right? And I just said no because I needed to say yes to myself this week. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking that step back. I'm relaxing. I'm enjoying just some quality me time and just relaxing. And it's not always all about stressing, 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 right? So because abundance doesn't flow if you're in scarcity, right? So people don't understand that. They're polar opposites, right? So if you're always in want, you're not in receiving mode, right? So you do have to be open to receive better things in your life for them to come, right? So it's like the person who's always checking their bank account to see how it's going down and they're worried, and they're trying to be abundant. They just don't go together, right? If you're always worried about the money, what you will see in your future is more worry, more more debt, more that you just won't see that. You attract what you want in a very different way, right? So being in health, we want to help other people have better health, right? Because when you do feel good in your body and you do know how to do that reset that she's talking about and bring things home to yourself, you want other people to experience it. Because I wasn't always calm, and okay. I was that person that was always stressing. I was living in a body with several autoimmune diseases. I was stressed all the time. And I was dangerously close to expiring if I kept going at that rate. So I do understand the quality and the need to have that rest to calm my nervous system and do those things for myself today. So sometimes I meditate every day. Other times I don't meditate all week, but I do other things to calm my nervous system. I always bring it back home, right? So, CJ, why don't you tell the audience some of the things that you do to calm your nervous system?
Well, I think what you said was really important. You said sometimes I do it every day, and sometimes I don't do it for the whole week. And I think it's one of those things where it doesn't have to be structured, because if it's structured and you're like, okay, I got to meditate at 7 a.m. every single day, or I got to EFT tap at 8 a.m. every single day, that's not regulating your nervous system. That's just giving you something else of a schedule to be on, to do. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about before I say what I do, is, the idea of give and take. Like, we're always being taught to give value to other people, to give to other people. And in order to be open to receive, we have to give. Giving is part of we give, we receive. So we need to give to ourselves too, in order to be able to be in that receiving mode, to be able to receive, freedom or money or abundance or prosperity or any of the things. We have to give to ourselves as well as our health to get that health back. So that landed when you were talking. So I just wanted to share that. Um, what I do, I love going out in the grass in the early morning, barefoot on the dew. The grass is wet. You feel that wet, you know, dew on your feet. If the lawn's just been mowed, you're getting that grass all over. Now that it's summer here in Wisconsin and it's not snowing, it's actually warm enough. My pool is open, so I go in the pool every single day, regardless, and just lay there and float, not on anything, just float in the water and like the waves in coming. For me, want anything to regulate my nervous system or just slow down, it's all about the water for me. Being on the beach, having the water lap over my feet, just listening to that, and anything outside, just being outside in nature, barefoot, listening to the birds, listening to the leaves in the trees. I went decades without realizing all of that stuff was really important. Like, just go, 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 go. And when you stop and you realize that the little things in nature that you take for granted are the biggest things that change how you feel mentally and emotionally. So for me, it's being in nature.
I love that. I'm spending more time in nature probably than I have in a really long time. And it's where I feel closest to God and closest to myself. I feel more calm in my body when I take that time to just really see what those leaves are doing and noticing those birds and how they sound and stuff. It kind of gives me a peace, right? And it helps me realize that I'm only a small part of a bigger picture and that it's life is not all about us, right? So it is about that give and receive.
Exactly.
It always brings that home for me. So anything else you wanted to add before we close this out today?
I just wanted to say, if you cannot give to yourself and you cannot regulate your nervous system and you're constantly in the flight or fight mode, nobody else is going to want to work with you. Nobody's going to want to be around you. I mean, there are times in my life in the past where it's like I was in such a desperation. I just need to get this amount of money and I just need to do this to survive, just to get to the next day. And I was the most miserable hack on the planet. And once I realized that I'm spending so much time worrying about things that are probably never going to happen in life, and I just said, okay, come home to myself. I have to take care of myself. And that whole, you can't pour from an empty cup. I used to roll my eyes when people would say that, but it's reality. If you're not giving to yourself, you cannot give your best self to anybody else. I don't care who it is. And so you're the number one person in your life. You have the body that's going to last, your heart, your soul, everything about you is the only one that you get. So do for you first, and then you can pour out into other people.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. So, a lot of people are so busy managing families and, two jobs sometimes and so many other things, businesses, different relationships, and they don't understand that none of those things exist without the center who's you, right? So those relationships are contingent on how well you treat yourself. And a lot of people don't know that because if you can't take time to nurture yourself, what kind of partner would you be? What kind of parent would you be? What kind of business owner would you be? So and those things just have a rippling effect on everything in life. I didn't always get that either, right? And it took me a long time to get to that place. And when I started just really, really focusing on taking better care of myself, I became better at all those other things for people in my life. So if you're not doing something for yourself today, you might want to rethink that, step back, and just reassess where you want to go and the best way you can get there and what you need to feed yourself to get there. So thanks for popping by. Have a great day, and thanks for sharing this time with us on Branches of Prosperity. See you.